And judging by the progress, you guys are having a blast with Edpuzzle assignments. So try something different. It probably still will be an Edpuzzle because I can make sure you have to actually watch it the entire time. Number 5, explain the impact of limited resources on wealth management. So, just from the title alone, limited resources, so not having everything. So, the things we want to talk about, letter A, create a budget. All right. So, creating that budget is going to help you understand what you have coming in and what you have going out. And we've talked about this before that you got to make sure your income exceeds your expenses. Okay, that way you're not what we call upside down. You don't want to have your expenses, you don't want to be paying out more than you're bringing in, or else you're going to end up in some serious debt, and it might be hard to get out of. All right, so letter A, create a budget and try and stick to it. Hey, we're only going to spend this much on groceries this month. We're only going to spend this much on such and such this month. And that way, maybe part of your budget is, as we've talked before, that you are able to save some money, or you can figure out if you're just breaking even. Maybe you're bringing in $2,000 and it takes $1,900 to live your life for a month. Well, you don't really have a lot to invest with or to save, but you do have a little bit, and you need to be careful with your budget. Okay, so create one, try and stick to it. It's hard. It's very hard to sit down and figure out where all your money's going and then to try to stick to it. All right, but it is a good thing to have. The next letter, things to talk about, impact of limited resources on wealth management. Don't take out loans that will get you in over your head. So just a little bit about me. I was approved for a house loan of a large sum. Now I can take out that loan and they'll be happy to give it to me. However, if I were to take out that loan, the mortgage payments would be more than what I'm paying right now in rent. So am I able to get that money and buy a big fancy house? Yeah. Would that put me in over my head where I'm paying more in that than I am right now? Quite possibly. Okay. And that might not fit my budget. So we've talked about you might be approved for a loan, but that doesn't really mean you need to take it out, because if you're going to have a hard time paying that loan back, all that money might not really help you. So don't take out loans just to take them out because you can. You don't want to get upside down. You don't want to get in over your head. The next one, letter C, the impact of limited resources on wealth management. Be careful with credit cards, all right? You guys are young. You're going to use credit cards for a lot of things, even probably more so moving forward with life. You guys will use credit cards probably even more than I do. I use them more than when I was a teenager. But you're going to start to get offered credit cards, and be careful with those. Okay, it's a great resource to help manage your wealth because you don't have to pay everything right then and there. You can kind of pay it off, monthly or whatever it may be. But like we've talked about, don't just pay the minimum if you have the ability to pay it all off. Those interest rates are horrendous and they will tax you like no other and take a lot of your money in interest rates. So be careful with credit cards that you don't get into some serious debt. Okay, because that's a limited resource. You don't have a lot of money, so you might be trying that. Letter D, explain the impact of limited resources on wealth management. Don't try and live beyond your means. All right. And D and E are kind of connected, so we'll talk about those together. Don't try and spend money you don't have. Okay. Don't try and live beyond your means. Don't try and have a fancy car if it's something you can't afford. Don't buy filet mignon and shrimp every night for dinner if it's something you can't afford. That's living beyond your means. Okay. I'm a teacher. We don't eat filet mignon every night for dinner. We don't eat shrimp every night for dinner. Yeah, we might have it once in a while, but that's not our staple. Okay, that's not something we're doing every day because we don't have the resources financially to be in that situation. Okay, so we're trying to manage our wealth, what little we have. So we live inside of our means, which brings us to letter E. Sometimes just being basic and normal is okay. All right, we joke about don't be basic or things like that. Sometimes you have to. Okay, sometimes you're going to have to with your money just to make it. You guys are going to be going out into the world here soon on your own, and you're going to incur some bills and some expenses, and it's going to be new and it's going to be different. Don't try and live in a fancy 4-bedroom apartment if it's just you and you can't afford it. Okay, you don't have to drive a Range Rover around town if you can't afford it. That doesn't mean anything. It's nice, but in the long run, that's not going to help you. You're going to get so far in debt that it's not going to be worth it. They're going to take your car and you're going to lose everything you have in it. Okay. So live within your means, do what you can. don't overextend yourself. And you'll hear that some too with financially. Don't overextend yourself financially. Right? Don't commit money that you don't have. Right? Spend what you got and be careful with it, and try and save, try and invest. Those are things that we've talked about so far.